The most dangerous balancing act in the world between two conflicting forces. But a TV set costs 4 or 5 months' wages. Hello, a bit of capitalist corruption creeping in.
And is your fashion house state-controlled?
Oh yes, of course, it is state-controlled.
Freedom of the press limited only by the interest of the state. You may print anything which is not detrimental to the interest of the state.
Day in, well, just guess where. Have another look. Well, you're now behind the Iron Curtain. This is a student club in Warsaw, capital of communist Poland. The building we're in now is an old wooden building in the center of the city, overshadowed by the great Soviet Palace of Culture, the building which dominates the Warsaw landscape. This wooden building, where the students are now dancing, used to be the canteen used by the Russian workers which built the Palace of Culture. Now, on Saturdays and Sundays, the students of Warsaw try their hand, and pretty well too, at American jazz. As you look across the river Vistula to Warsaw, you see how the Soviet Palace of Culture dominates the city, just as Soviet power dominates Poland itself. But those Polish students you saw letting themselves go in Western style are just one little sign of the many new freedoms which the Poles have gained for themselves in the last 3 years, since their communist leader Gomulka stood up to the Russians in 1956. A crowd of 400,000 people welcomed Gomulka's return to power. He symbolizes the freer life they now have, despite Russian domination. He had been in prison under the old Stalinist dictatorship. Now, as first secretary of Poland's Communist Party, Gomulka is political leader of Poland. Yet the country is 90% Catholic. Their spiritual leader is Cardinal Wyszynski. I watched the passionate greeting the Cardinal got as he walked in public procession to one of Warsaw's 54 Catholic churches. He was released from detention in October '56 and reached an agreement with Gomulka under which the Catholic Church has greater freedom than anywhere else behind the Iron Curtain. But there's been constant friction and government pressure, such as a heavy tax on church collections. One of the strangest paradoxes in the world, a devoutly Catholic people living under a communist government. What is the allegiance of the younger generation in this deep ideological conflict? I went along to Warsaw University. The students are much like students everywhere, preoccupied with exams and scholarship. Not very much interested in dress. A group I talked to did not seem deeply stirred by creeds. What proportion of the students in Warsaw University are members of the Communist Party?
Oh, really, I don't know. I really don't know.
Would most of them, or?
No, I don't think most of them. Not most of students, sure.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
How many of them are practicing Catholics?
Yes, much more I think than members of party, but not most.
How many in this group, could you ask this group to put up their hands if they are a practicing Catholic?
Kto z was jest praktykującym katolikiem, niech podniesie rękę.
That has been really serious.
Żeby tylko poważnie, wiecie? Bo to takie statystyczna historia. Raz, dwa. Two of us.
Now, does that mean the others are not Catholic at all, or they're just rather lazy about
Well,
it?
it depends. I shall ask them.
Yes?
Czy to znaczy, że jesteście ateistami, czy że nie jesteście
No,
praktykującymi?
Nie praktykującymi, to drugie.
Czy katolicy nie praktykujący, czy ateiści?
Nie.
Now, don't go on too
Ja nie
long in
praktykuję-
Polish, because otherwise the people in England won't understand. What do they say?
Well, half atheist.
They what?
Half atheist, half Catholics.
Ah, yes.
Some
Are any of
them
them
and-
members of the Communist Party?
No, they're not. So I can ask.
Will you ask?
Yes. Kto jest członkiem partii? Nobody of us.
Now, does this mean that students are not interested in political things very much?
Oh, not at all. I think that it doesn't mean that they are not interested. We are interested, but it doesn't mean that we must be members of party.
What any country would you most like to visit? What about you?
Oh, I think United States. They're very interesting about the life in the United States.
What particularly about it would you like to see there?
Oh,
The prosperity or the people?
No, but I think I would like to compare the differences between cultures in the United States and the east of Europe and the west of Europe, because I think that the difference is very, very big.
And without having been there, what do you think the main difference is?
Oh, I think the main difference perhaps is the way how the people are spending their free time, you know, because I think the Polish people are often going to the theaters, to the cinema, to the museums. I think the American people are looking only for amusements. You know, I think so.
Would you like to go to America?
Oh, very much. I'd like to visit quite a number of foreign countries, and but it's not because I think people live in America in a more interesting way, only they live in a different way from ours, and there's a lot of technique there, and you don't waste so much time doing all kinds of odd things over here.
Have you wished to visit any particular foreign country?
No.
You don't want to go to a foreign country? I don't think he quite understood. Could you translate?
To Moscow.
You would like to go to Moscow?
Yes.
Why would you like to go to Moscow? I was there in March. I enjoyed it.
Because I know Russian language, and I suppose that Russia is a most interesting country of the world.
Do you think it is more interesting than America?
Yes.
Now, would you tell me how much freedom of speech there is in Poland?
Oh, you know, it's a very interesting question because, you know, I'm a member of the the Association of Friends of the United Nations Association, you know, and we have a discuss on this topic, you know, with American students which have been in Poland, but, you know, there's a question, I think, what we mean by freedom of speaking. But, you know, I think that most of people in Poland are enjoyed of this freedom what they have.
Would you agree with that,
Yes.
you are free to
Yes.
say more or less what you think?
Yes.
But if you, can you at a student discussion criticize the policy of
Yes,
Mr.
of course.
Gomulka?
Yes.
Can you?
We can. In our organization and on our meetings, we can do it.
And what about the press?
Well, now, the press has changed considerably from what it had been before, and we find a lot of critical articles there, but not, you know, it's what we call constructive criticism, not criticism for criticism's sake, because that wouldn't take us anywhere. After all, the situation is pretty difficult, and our geographical position is quite a peculiar one. And I think that most
with
Polish
Russia
people
on
understand-
the east and
Oh, well,
Germany
no,
on the
I
west.
wouldn't put it that way, you know, but the whole plot of circumstances is very complicated, and the set, I mean, of circumstances. And that's why, and I think that most Polish people understand it, that you can't criticize everything. You have to put up with certain thing until things get better.
What would
Now,
you
in
say
what
was
way
that you think Polish freedom might increase even more than it is at the moment?
Oh, well, I don't quite imagine, you know. I think we've got quite a lot of freedom now. What we need is simply more goods, you know.
Material
and increased
prosperity.
production. That's what we need. And
There is more production, more goods in the shops than 3 years ago. Television sets, 120,000 of them in Poland. But a TV set costs 4 or 5 months' wages. Refrigerators made in Russia, 9,000 zlotys, that's 6 months of the average worker's pay. Motorcycles, 4 months' wages. And the latest thing to make up for the car shortage, a few motor scooters. But for a lot of the way in Warsaw, you walk, and a pair of shoes costs 2 or 3 weeks' wages. A medium quality man's suit may cost up to 6 weeks' wages or more. And for the ladies, things are very cheap for something simple in cotton, but up to 3 months of a worker's pay for haute couture. I talked to Madame Grabowska, head of the state-controlled fashion house, who's known as Poland's fashion dictator or minister of fashion.
Madam Grabowska, how did you come to be running a fashion house here in Warsaw?
Well, I was always interested before the war in dress designing. And after the war, when I started to work, I thought perhaps that would be the best job for me, to teach some good taste and how to nicely dress to our women, to Polish girls.
And is your fashion house state-controlled?
Oh yes, of course, it is state-controlled.
But who can afford to buy your creations, some of which must be expensive?
Well, I think everybody can afford it because we are making a collection twice a year, and after we are copying every model in 100 or 200 copies, and then it is very cheap. The first models are of course expensive, but we are showing them the whole season, and after showing they are so much used that we must sell them already much cheaper. And when somebody will have a copy made for him, you know, then for her, that means, then it is expensive, of course, but there are people who can afford it.
What sort of people would they be?
Well, there are artists and writers and wives of writers, people who are going abroad for representation, and wives and daughters of our diplomatic corps who is here in Warsaw.
And what do you think of the taste to get your ideas?
Of course, I am going abroad sometimes twice a year, to Paris, to London. I am going, you know, to Prague, to Budapest. We are going, I am going alone to see the collection, or I am going with my girls to show the models.
Are you able to go more now than you were before 1956?
Well, I was able to go before 96, but now I am able to go frequently.
Madam Grabowska, would you be so kind as to show us one or two of your creations?
Of course, gladly. I will be very tactile dress from dark blue organza with pink silk, and the necklace is too of pink and dark blue.
You don't think the necklace is rather large?
Oh no, it is very fashionable
That
now,
is always
yes.
yes.
And we wear the necklaces from morning till evening for every dress and for every suit, a very large necklace. This is a morning dress from Polish linen, striped blue and white, and with little red blouse and a red denim back. Oh.
Is that skirt shorter than usual, or is that
no,
the current fashion?
No, it is our fashion. We wear it very short this season.
Is that shorter than the fashion in Paris?
No, that is just like the fashion in Paris. It is just a little below the knee. That is a cocktail dress made from Polish peasant ribbons. That is, we make very often fashion after Polish folklore. We have very nice embroideries and handmade laces. And
these are white roses on a blue and red background.
Silver roses on a blue background, yes. And the ribbons are in all colors, and sometimes we are making black or yellow or red. That is really a nice dress.
It's very lovely.
That is an evening dress, and it has new ankle lengths, not quite long, but a new ankle length. It was designed for a lady who went abroad, an ambassador wife. It is from pink tulle and with sequins.
Rather expensive.
Oh yes, it is. It is a big evening dress only.
And this one coming along now?
That is a morning dress from cotton, plain cotton, very light green. And she wears a large straw hat, but she wears it in hand because it is very windy and
Yes.
she can't wear it on her head.
A red straw hat.
Straw hat, yes. It is with a large collar, which is very fashionable now.
Sort of lime green. Isn't it?
Yes, lime green. Oh, you know the colors, I see.
Well, thank you very
Poland
much.
has a long way to go before all its girls are dressed by Madame Grabowska. It's a poor country by our standards. Practically all wives go out to work, and it's common for people to have 2 jobs. Transport is scarce. And quite a lot of goods vehicles are horse-drawn. And you can cross the road in Warsaw without being in much danger. In fact, I had great difficulty in getting any transport at all, but I managed somehow. This was a lift from a British businessman. Though this was more typical. Since '56, Poland has been more open to influences from the West, American and British plays. That's Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream in Polish dress. A few Western newspapers are available from the kiosks in Warsaw streets. I talked to one of Poland's leading editors about how the...
This is Mr. Stefan Arski, editor of the Polish illustrated weekly Świat. Mr. Arski, what is the circulation of
The
Świat?
circulation of the magazine is about 150,000 copies.
How of the press is there in Poland now?
Freedom of the press limited only by the interest of the state. You may print anything which is not detrimental to the interest of the state.
And is that decided by a censor, is it?
There is the so-called Office of Press Control,
Yes.
and everything is being submitted to them.
And what about freedom books and foreign newspapers?
Foreign books and foreign newspapers, the number of them is limited due to the difficulties in the foreign exchange, but that's the only reason. So you may go to special bookshops in Warsaw where you can buy foreign books or order them to be imported on your special order.
What about Dr. Zhivago? Is that available in Poland?
No, Dr. Zhivago was not available, but I suppose that if you order a copy, and I did it, you will receive it by mail.
And nobody minds this?
No.
Main change since 1956.
Producing of the so-called socialist legality. That means a regular trial procedure and abolishment of any arrests which are not based on legal procedure.
The secret police?
The secret police, yes.
And for the people of Poland, freedom from the secret police was the most important of Gomulka's promised freedom. Freedom to live their lives without the fear of sudden arrest. Now they are able to relax as never before. Hello, a bit of capitalist corruption creeping in. The parks and playgrounds of Warsaw are evidence of a growing political problem. Children. Catholic Poland has a high birth rate. The communist government has legalized propaganda about birth control. Catholic Church, of course, opposes birth control. And so you have another cause of conflict between church and state. almost the whole of Warsaw was destroyed during the war. 15 years after liberation, it still looks a devastated, half-built city. But bit by bit, among the ruins, new flats are growing up. Rents are low. They can be as little as a few shillings a month for 2 rooms in the centre of Warsaw, but the average is about 10% of a worker's pay. I asked to see a typical worker's flat. I was shown one in a block built for workers at a radio factory. The family are buying the flat, and their instalments take up just under 1/10 of the husband and wife's joint income. Housing's still limited, and there's a ration of 11 square feet of living space for each person. This flat has 2 rooms and a kitchen for 6 people. Plenty of pictures and ornaments. This is a goldfish bowl in the room where the husband and wife sleep. Here's the second bedroom, and also the living room and dining room as well. 4 people sleep here. A girl of 13, that little one there, a 16-year-old boy, the wife's sister, and her 75-year-old mother. There's the kitchen. And the people who live in that block of flats are ruled from this building, Communist Party headquarters. Since Gomulka came back to work here in '56, the Poles have gained greater freedom of speech and religion, greater freedom to visit Western countries. What I saw in Poland showed me that Gomulka is performing the most dangerous balancing act in the world, between 2 conflicting forces. One, the yearning of the people of Poland for Western freedoms and Western standards of life. On the other, Russian power, which stands ready to crush any breakaway movement by Poland from the communist camp.